Ladies and gentlemen, I want to extend a heartfelt welcome to each one of you. Your presence here today shows a commitment to personal growth and a desire to find a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment in life. We gather here not just to share knowledge, but to connect, understand, and uplift one another. Today, let's talk about something we all experience but often struggle to address: sadness. Sadness is a feeling that touches us all at different times in our lives. It's a universal experience, something that every human being goes through. It doesn't discriminate based on age, gender, or background, but just because it's common doesn't mean it has to define us. It's important to acknowledge this feeling and understand it, rather than suppress it or feel ashamed of it. Why do we feel sad? What is it about certain events or thoughts that bring about this heavy emotion? Think about a time when you felt truly sad. Was it because of a loss, a disappointment, or perhaps a feeling of being stuck? Each of us has our own triggers, but the underlying reasons often share common threads. Sadness can stem from unmet expectations, a sense of loss, or feeling disconnected from others or ourselves. Sometimes it arises when life doesn't turn out the way we had hoped or planned. Other times it's an internal signal that something in our life needs to change. A relationship, a job, or even a mindset. Now, why is it important to ask this question? Because understanding the root cause of our sadness is the first step towards addressing it. By bringing these feelings into the light, we can start to see them for what they truly are. Signals guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our needs. I want to encourage you to keep this question in mind. Why do we feel sad? And more importantly, how can we transform this sadness into a catalyst for growth and change? Together, let's explore these ideas and find ways to turn our sadness into a stepping stone towards a more joyful and fulfilling life. Let's take a moment to consider both its biological and psychological roots. Sadness isn't just a feeling that appears out of nowhere. It has a basis in our brain chemistry and our body's responses. When we experience sadness, certain chemicals in our brain, such as serotonin and dopamine, may be out of balance. These neurotransmitters play a key role in regulating our mood, and when they're disrupted, we can feel low, unmotivated, and even overwhelmed. But sadness isn't solely about brain chemistry. It's also closely tied to our thoughts and perceptions. How we interpret and respond to the events in our lives can greatly influence our emotional state. For example, two people might face the same challenging situation, but their reactions can be vastly different. One might see it as a setback, leading to feelings of despair, while the other might view it as an opportunity for growth and feel motivated to overcome it. This brings us to the impact of external events on our emotions. Life is full of ups and downs, and sometimes we encounter situations that are genuinely difficult. The loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or the failure to achieve a significant goal can all trigger feelings of sadness. These events are external factors that we often can't control, but they have a profound impact on how we feel. However, it's not just the events themselves, but how we perceive and interpret them that shapes our emotional response. So our internal narrative, the story we tell ourselves about what's happening, plays a critical role. If we view a job loss as a personal failure, our sadness might deepen. But if we see it as an opportunity to explore new paths, we might feel a sense of hope and possibility. So let's go back to our earlier questions, like why do we feel sad? Beyond the biological and external factors, sadness often serves as a signal for deeper issues. It's our mind and body's way of telling us that something needs our attention. Perhaps we're living out of alignment with our true desires or values. Maybe we've been neglecting our own needs or ignoring unresolved emotions. Sadness can be a prompt to pause, reflect, and make necessary changes. Think about a time when you felt a persistent sadness. Did it point to something deeper that needed addressing? Maybe it was a sign that a certain relationship was no longer healthy for you, or that your current job wasn't fulfilling your true potential. By paying attention to these signals, we can start to uncover the root causes of our sadness and take steps to address them. One powerful way to do this is through self-reflection and meditation. When we take the time to sit quietly and turn our attention inward, we can begin to understand the underlying thoughts and beliefs driving our emotions. This process allows us to gain clarity and perspective, helping us to see our situation in a new light. For example, one individual I worked with shared how they had been feeling a deep sadness for months. Through our conversations and guided meditations, they realized that this sadness was linked to a long-held belief that they were not good enough. By becoming aware of this belief, they were able to challenge and change it, leading to a significant shift in their emotional state. So the next time you feel sad, remember that it's not just a random feeling. It's a signal from your mind and body urging you to look deeper. Ask yourself, what is this sadness trying to tell me? What needs my attention right now? By exploring these questions, you can start to understand the true source of your sadness and take steps towards healing and transformation. In this way, sadness becomes not just a burden, but a valuable guide, leading you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your life. It's through this understanding that you can begin to make meaningful changes, turning your sadness into a powerful catalyst for growth and joy. Let's turn our attention to the incredible power of our mind. You see, our thoughts have a profound impact on our reality. They shape our perceptions, influence our emotions, and ultimately determine how we experience the world. This concept isn't just a philosophical idea. It's a fundamental truth supported by scientific research and countless personal stories. Consider this. Every thought we have sends a signal to our body, triggering an emotional response. When we consistently think negative thoughts, our body responds with feelings of sadness, anxiety, and stress. On the other hand, when we focus on positive, empowering thoughts, we experience feelings of joy, hope, and well-being. This is why it's so important to become aware of our thoughts and learn to guide them in a direction that supports our happiness and health. I remember working with a young woman who had been struggling with deep sadness for years. She felt stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, constantly replaying past mistakes and worrying about the future. Through our sessions, she began to understand the connection between her thoughts and her emotional state. We worked on techniques to shift her mindset, such as practicing gratitude, setting positive intentions, and visualizing a happier future. Gradually, she started to notice changes in her feelings and her outlook on life. By changing her thoughts, she was able to transform her reality. Another powerful example comes from a man who had lost his job and was feeling hopeless. He saw this loss as a personal failure and was consumed by negative thoughts. Together, we explored his beliefs and challenged the narrative he was telling himself. He started to reframe his situation, viewing it as an opportunity to pursue his true passions. By focusing on his strengths and potential, he was able to turn his sadness into motivation. He eventually found a new career that brought him fulfillment and joy, all because he changed his mindset. These stories highlight a crucial point. We have the ability to change our thoughts, and in doing so, change our emotional state. So, how can we harness the power of our mind to overcome sadness? The first step is awareness. We need to become aware of our habitual thought patterns and recognize how they influence our emotions. This involves paying attention to our inner dialogue and identifying any negative or limiting beliefs that might be holding us back. Once we're aware of our thoughts, we can begin to challenge and change them. This doesn't mean forcing ourselves to think positively all the time, but rather shifting our focus to more empowering and constructive thoughts. For instance, instead of dwelling on a mistake, we can choose to see it as a learning experience. Instead of worrying about the future, we can focus on the possibilities it holds. A powerful tool to assist in this process is visualization. By vividly imagining a future where we are free from sadness, we start to align our thoughts and emotions with that desired reality. Visualization helps to create a clear, positive image in our mind, which can then influence our behavior and actions. It's like creating a mental blueprint for the life we want to live. So I invite you to ask yourselves, how can I harness the power of my mind to overcome sadness? Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Notice when you are caught in negative thinking and gently guide your mind towards more positive and empowering thoughts. Practice visualization and see yourself living a joyful and fulfilling life. Remember, you have the power to shape your reality with your thoughts. By harnessing this power, you can transform your sadness into a source of strength and inspiration, creating a life filled with happiness and purpose. Let's keep this question in mind and allow it to guide us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential for change. Now that we've discussed the power of our mind, let's take a closer look at how we can break free from the habitual thought patterns that often lead to sadness. Our brains are wired to create habits which are essentially repeated behaviors and thoughts that become automatic over time. These habits can be beneficial, like brushing our teeth or driving a car, but they can also be detrimental, especially when it comes to our emotional well-being. Many of us are stuck in patterns of thinking that keep us anchored in sadness. These might include constantly criticizing ourselves, replaying negative experiences, or fearing future events. These thought patterns can become so ingrained that we aren't even aware of them. They become our default mode, and we start to believe that they define who we are. But the truth is, we are not our thoughts. We have the power to observe them, challenge them, and change them. The first step in breaking these habits is awareness. We need to become aware of the thoughts that dominate our minds and recognize how they influence our emotions. This requires a bit of introspection and honesty with ourselves. Take a moment to think about your typical day. What thoughts frequently cross your mind? Are they mostly positive and uplifting, or do they tend to be negative and critical? This awareness is the foundation for change. Once we are aware of our habitual thoughts, we can begin to interrupt and replace them. This doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, it is entirely possible. One effective strategy is to use affirmations, positive statements that you repeat to yourself to reinforce a new belief. For example, if you often think, "I'm not good enough," you can replace this with, "I am capable and deserving of happiness." By repeating this affirmation, especially during times when the negative thought arises, you can start to rewire your brain to think differently. Another strategy is to practice gratitude. When we focus on what we are grateful for, it shifts our attention away from what we lack and towards what we have. This simple practice can have a profound impact on our mood and overall outlook on life. Try starting or ending your day by writing down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be as simple as a warm cup of coffee or the support of a friend. Over time, this practice helps to cultivate a more positive mindset. Let's also talk about the power of meditation as a tool for transformation. Meditation allows us to step back from our thoughts and observe them without judgment. It creates a space of awareness where we can see our habitual patterns and begin to change them. When we meditate, we train our mind to focus on the present moment rather than getting lost in past regrets or future worries. There are many forms of meditation, but one that I find particularly effective is called mindfulness meditation. This practice involves sitting quietly and paying attention to your breath. When your mind starts to wander, as it inevitably will, you gently bring your focus back to your breathing. This simple act of returning to the present moment helps to break the cycle of habitual thinking. Another powerful meditation technique is called guided visualization. In this practice, you close your eyes and imagine a peaceful and happy place. You create a vivid mental image of this place using all your senses to make it feel real. This visualization helps to create new neural pathways in your brain, reinforcing positive thoughts and emotions. I remember working with a man who was struggling with deep sadness after a significant loss. He felt trapped in a cycle of grief and couldn't see a way out. Through mindfulness meditation, he learned to observe his thoughts without getting overwhelmed by them. He also practiced guided visualization, imagining himself in a future where he was at peace and happy again. These practices didn't eliminate his sadness overnight, but they gave him the tools to navigate it more effectively and eventually find a sense of hope and joy again. Let's return to our quests. What are the habitual thoughts that keep you anchored in sadness? And how can you begin to break these patterns and replace them with thoughts that empower and uplift you? By becoming aware of our thoughts, practicing affirmations and gratitude, and using meditation as a tool for transformation, we can break free from the habits that no longer serve us. We can create new patterns of thinking that support our happiness and well-being. Remember, you have the power to change your mind, and in doing so, change your life. Embrace this power and allow it to guide you towards a more joyful and fulfilling existence. Together, let's take these steps towards breaking the habit of being ourselves and stepping into the best version of who we can be. I want to highlight the profound importance of living in the present moment. The present moment is where life happens. It's the only time we truly have. Yet so many of us spend our days trapped in thoughts about the past or worrying about the future. When we dwell on the past, we often replay events that caused us pain or regret. This keeps us anchored in old emotions, preventing us from moving forward. Perhaps you can recall a time when you kept thinking about a mistake you made or a relationship that ended badly. Those thoughts can create a persistent feeling of sadness, making it hard to see the positive aspects of the present. On the other hand, worrying about the future can fill us with anxiety and fear. We imagine all sorts of worst-case scenarios, which may never happen, but our body and mind react as if they are real. This anticipation of future troubles can rob us of the peace and joy available to us right now. Have you ever found yourself so consumed with what might go wrong that you couldn't enjoy what was going right in your life at that moment? So how do we shift our focus to the present and find peace and happiness there? It starts with mindfulness, which is simply the practice of paying attention to the here and now. One practical exercise to help with this is to focus on your breathing. Your breath is always with you, and paying attention to it can anchor you in the present moment. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Repeat this a few times and notice how it brings your awareness to the present. Another effective technique is to engage your senses. Wherever you are, take a moment to observe your surroundings. What do you see? What sounds can you hear? What can you feel with your hands or under your feet? By tuning into your senses, you bring your focus away from your thoughts and into the experience of the present moment. I remember a woman I worked with who was constantly worried about her future. She feared she wouldn't achieve her career goals, and this fear was making her miserable. Through practicing mindfulness, she learned to appreciate the small joys of her daily life. The warmth of the sun on her face, the laughter of a friend, the taste of her favorite food. These moments of presence helped her realize that her life was already full of beautiful experiences, and it eased her worries about the future. Mindfulness can also be practiced through mindful activities. This means doing everyday tasks with full attention. For instance, when you're eating, really focus on the taste, texture, and smell of your food. When you're walking, notice the feeling of the ground under your feet and the rhythm of your steps. These simple practices can transform mundane activities into opportunities for mindfulness and joy. Let's also talk about the power of meditation to help us stay present. A simple meditation practice involves sitting quietly and focusing on your breath or a mantra. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to your point of focus. This practice trains your mind to stay in the present moment and helps you develop a sense of calm and clarity. How often am I truly present in my daily life? Am I stuck in the past or lost in worries about the future? What can I do to bring my awareness to the here and now? By practicing mindfulness and living in the present moment, you can reduce feelings of sadness and anxiety and open yourself up to the peace and happiness that is always available to you. I want you to take a moment to envision a future where you are free from sadness. Picture yourself waking up each day with a sense of joy and purpose. Imagine feeling light, unburdened by past regrets or future worries. This isn't just a fanciful daydream. It's a powerful exercise in creating your reality. The power of visualization and intention cannot be underestimated. When you visualize a positive future, you are planting seeds in your mind that can grow into your reality. Our thoughts are like magnets, attracting experiences that match their frequency. By focusing on what you want, rather than what you fear, what saddens you, you begin to shift your energy towards creating that desired future. Let me share a story about a man who transformed his life through the power of visualization and intention. He'd been feeling stuck in a rut, overwhelmed by feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Every day felt like a struggle, and he couldn't see a way out. But he decided to try something different. He began to spend a few minutes each day visualizing his ideal future. He saw himself in a job he loved, surrounded by supportive friends, and feeling a deep sense of happiness and fulfillment. He paired this visualization with clear, positive intentions, such as I am attracting opportunities that bring me joy and I am open to new possibilities. Over time, something incredible happened. He started to notice opportunities that he hadn't seen before. His mindset shifted, and he began to take actions that aligned with his vision. Gradually, his life began to change, and he moved from a place of sadness to a place of genuine happiness. So how can you harness this power for yourself? It starts with setting clear, positive intentions for your future. These intentions act as a roadmap, guiding your thoughts and actions towards your desired outcome. To set effective intentions, be specific about what you want. Instead of saying, I want to be happy, try something more focused like, I intend to cultivate joy and gratitude in my daily life. Once you have set your intentions, reinforce them with visualization. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed and close your eyes. Picture your ideal future in vivid detail. What does it look like? How do you feel? Who are you with? Engage all your senses to make the experience as real as possible. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more powerful the impact on your subconscious mind. Write down your intentions and keep them somewhere visible. This serves as a daily reminder of the future you are creating. You can also speak your intentions out loud, affirming them with conviction and belief. The more you reinforce these positive thoughts, the more you align your energy with your desired future. It's important to approach this practice with an open heart and a sense of trust. Change may not happen overnight, and there will be challenges along the way. But with consistent effort and belief in your vision, you can create profound changes in your life. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. By focusing on what you want rather than what you fear, you harness the incredible power of your mind to shape your future. Let's ask ourselves, what kind of future do I want to create? What are the intentions I need to set to make that future a reality? And how can I use visualization to reinforce those intentions? By embracing these practices, you can transform your sadness into a source of motivation and inspiration, paving the way for a future filled with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. You believe in the power within you to create a new future. Trust in your ability to visualize and set intentions that guide you towards the life you truly desire. Together, let's step into that vision with hope and confidence, knowing that the best is yet to come. Let's take a moment to consider the incredible power of gratitude. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a profound shift in perspective that can transform how we experience life. When we focus on gratitude, we shift our attention from what we lack to what we have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. Think about a time when you felt truly grateful. Maybe it was for a kind gesture from a friend, a beautiful sunset, or simply having a warm place to sleep. In those moments, the worries and stresses of life seem to fade away, replaced by a feeling of peace and appreciation. This is the power of gratitude. It centers us in the present and helps us recognize the goodness that exists in our lives, even amid challenges. Gratitude can be a powerful antidote to sadness because it redirects our focus. When we're sad, our minds often dwell on what's missing or what's wrong. Gratitude shifts that focus to what's present and what's right. It's a simple yet profound change that can have a significant impact on our emotional well-being. Let me share a story about a woman who was feeling overwhelmed by the pressures of her job and personal life. She felt like she was constantly failing and couldn't see any positives in her situation. I suggested she start a daily gratitude practice. At first, she was skeptical, but she decided to give it a try. Every evening, she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for that day. They didn't have to be big things. Sometimes it was just a pleasant conversation or a moment of laughter. Over time, she noticed a change. By focusing on the positives, no matter how small, she began to feel more optimistic and less burdened by her challenges. Her gratitude practice helped her see that despite the difficulties, there were still many things to appreciate in her life. This simple habit transformed her perspective and significantly improved her overall mood. So how can you cultivate gratitude in your daily life? One effective technique is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 to 5 things you are grateful for. It could be something as simple as a delicious meal, a supportive friend, or a beautiful day. By making this a daily practice, you train your mind to look for the positives, shifting your focus from lack to abundance. Another technique is to express your gratitude to others. Take the time to tell someone how much you appreciate them. It could be a thank you note, a message, or a face-to-face conversation. Expressing gratitude not only makes others feel valued, but also reinforces your own sense of thankfulness. You can also practice gratitude in the moment. Whenever you feel overwhelmed or stressed, pause and take a few deep breaths. Then think of something you're grateful for right now. It could be the air you breathe, the ability to move, or the presence of a loved one. This simple shift in focus can bring immediate relief and help you reconnect with the present. Let's pose an important question. What are you grateful for today? Take a moment to reflect on this. Maybe it's the support of a friend, the warmth of the sun, or the food on your table. By recognizing and acknowledging these blessings, you open your heart to a greater sense of joy and contentment. Gratitude is a powerful tool that can help us navigate through sadness and find a deeper appreciation for life. It's about focusing on what we have rather than what we lack. And in doing so, we create a positive, uplifting mindset. Remember, There is always something to be grateful for, no matter how small it may seem. By cultivating gratitude, we can transform our perspective and experience life in a richer, more fulfilling way. So I invite you to embrace gratitude in your daily life. Make it a habit to look for the positives, express your appreciation, and keep a record of your blessings. Change is one of the few constants in life. It's something we all experience, often when we least, while change can sometimes be unsettling. It's important to recognize that it can also be a powerful source of growth and transformation. Rather than fearing change, we can learn to embrace it and see it as an opportunity to evolve and thrive. Think about it for a moment. How many times in your life has something changed unexpectedly? Perhaps it was a job, a relationship, or even a move to a new place. Initially, it might have felt uncomfortable or even scary, but looking back, can you see how these changes led to new opportunities or personal growth? Change, while challenging, often pushes us out of our comfort zones and compels us to adapt, learn. One key to embracing change is adopting a positive mindset. Instead of viewing change as a threat, we can choose to see it as a chance to create something new. This shift in perspective can make a significant difference in how we experience change. For example, instead of focusing on what we might lose, we can focus on what we might gain. This doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties that change can bring, but rather approaching them with a sense of curiosity and openness. Let me share a story about a man who faced a major change in his life. He had been working in the same industry for over 20 years when suddenly his company downsized, and he found himself without a job. At first, he was devastated and fearful about his future. But rather than letting this setback define him, he decided to see it as an opportunity to pursue something he had always been passionate about, teaching. He went back to school, earned his teaching credentials, and started working as a high school teacher. Not only did he find a new career that he loved, but he also discovered a sense of purpose and fulfillment he had never felt before. By embracing this change and viewing it as an opportunity, he transformed what could have been a devastating experience into a new chapter filled with growth and happiness. Another example comes from a woman who faced a sudden health crisis. Diagnosed with a serious illness, she had to make significant changes to her lifestyle. Initially, she felt overwhelmed and scared, but as she adapted to her new reality, she began to see it as a wake-up call. She adopted healthier habits, learned to appreciate the small joys in life, and became an advocate for others facing similar challenges. Her illness, while difficult, ultimately led to a more meaningful and purpose-driven life. So how can we adapt to change with a positive mindset? One practical approach is to focus on what we can control. While we can't always control the changes that happen around us, we can control how we respond to them. This means taking proactive steps to manage our emotions, seeking support from friends and family, and staying open to new possibilities. Another helpful strategy is to practice flexibility and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and the more we can bend without breaking, the better we can navigate change. This involves being willing to try new things, learn from setbacks, and remain hopeful even in the face of uncertainty. How can we embrace change in a way that promotes growth and positivity? What opportunities might this change present, and how can we make the most of them? By approaching change with an open mind and a positive attitude, we can transform challenges into stepping stones towards a richer, more fulfilling life. Remember, change is inevitable, but how we respond to it is up to us. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it guide you to new heights. As you do, you'll discover that change can be a powerful ally in your personal growth and development. Together, let's welcome the changes that come our way and use them as opportunities to create the life we truly desire. Let's take a moment to talk about resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to recover from setbacks, and to keep moving forward despite challenges. It's a crucial trait for overcoming sadness and navigating the ups and downs of life. Resilience doesn't mean we won't experience difficulties or emotional pain, but it equips us with the strength and flexibility to handle these experiences more effectively. Think about resilience as a muscle. Just as we can strengthen our physical muscles through exercise, we can build our resilience through practice and intention. Resilience helps us maintain our emotional balance and well-being, even when life throws us curveballs. It's what allows us to face challenges head-on, learn from them, and grow stronger. So how can we build this vital quality? One of the key strategies is to develop a positive mindset. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather approaching them with a solution-oriented attitude. When faced with a problem, instead of getting stuck in a loop of negative thinking, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? Or how can I turn this situation around? Another powerful tool for building resilience is self-care. Taking care of our physical, emotional, and mental health provides us with a strong foundation to cope with stress. This includes getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, exercising regularly, and finding time for activities that bring us joy. When we prioritize our well-being, we equip ourselves with the resources needed to handle life's challenges more effectively. Let me share a story about a young woman who demonstrated incredible resilience. She faced a series of personal and professional setbacks that left her feeling deeply discouraged. Instead of giving up, she decided to focus on small, positive changes in her daily routine. She started meditating, practicing gratitude, and setting realistic goals for herself. Over time, these practices helped her rebuild her confidence and regain her sense of purpose. She learned that by taking small steps each day, she could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. Another strategy for building resilience is to foster strong relationships. Having a support network of friends, family, or colleagues can provide us with emotional support and practical assistance during tough times. It's important to reach out and connect with others, sharing our experiences and leaning on each other for strength. Remember, resilience isn't about going it alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help and accepting support when it's offered. Mindfulness. And meditation can also play a significant role in building resilience. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to stay present and calm in the face of adversity. Meditation helps us develop a greater awareness of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to respond to challenges with clarity and composure rather than reacting impulsively. These practices can help us cultivate a sense of inner peace and stability, even when external circumstances are turbulent. How can you become more resilient in the face of life's challenges? Consider the strategies we've discussed. Developing a positive mindset, practicing self-care, fostering strong relationships, and incorporating mindfulness into your daily life. Reflect on how you can integrate these practices to build your resilience muscle. Think about a recent challenge you faced. How did you respond to it? What could you have done differently to navigate it more effectively? By examining our past experiences, we can learn valuable lessons and apply them to future situations. Remember, building resilience is a continuous process, and every challenge presents an opportunity to grow stronger. Resilience is not just about surviving difficulties. It's about thriving in spite of them. By cultivating resilience, we can transform our approach to life's challenges, viewing them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Embrace the power within you to bounce back, learn, and keep moving forward. Together, let's commit to building our resilience and creating a life of strength, purpose, and fulfillment. As we draw to a close, let's reflect on the key insights we've explored today. We've discussed the universal experience of sadness and how it can serve as a signal for deeper issues. We examine the power of the mind and how our thoughts shape our reality, emphasizing the importance of breaking habitual thought patterns and replacing them with empowering ones. We highlighted the significance of living in the present moment and introduced practical mindfulness exercises to help achieve this. We also delved into the power of visualization and setting clear intentions to create a brighter future. We explored the transformative role of gratitude, shifting our focus from what we lack to appreciating what we have. Embracing change was another crucial point, viewing it not as a threat but as a catalyst for growth. Finally, we discussed building resilience, developing the strength to bounce back from adversity and thrive. Remember, overcoming sadness is not just about understanding these concepts, but about applying them in your daily life. It's about changing your mindset and taking actionable steps toward a more positive and fulfilling existence. You have the power within you to reshape your reality, to transform sadness into a source of strength and inspiration. So I ask you to take these lessons to heart. Reflect on the tools and strategies we've discussed. How can you implement them in your life starting today? Whether it's practicing gratitude, visualizing a positive future, or building resilience, each step you take brings you closer to a state of joy and fulfillment. See, believe in your ability to create change. You are not defined by your past or by the challenges you face. You have the strength and the power to overcome sadness and to build a life filled with purpose, happiness, and peace. Embrace this journey with hope and determination, knowing that every step you take is a step toward a brighter, more empowered future. Thank you for being here, for your willingness to grow, and for your commitment to a better, more joyful life. Let's move forward with courage and confidence, ready to embrace all the possibilities that lie ahead.